France is looking very nice weather, unlike the Tier 3 qualifying. That was very wet and drizzly, but we are here. We've got lots of new drivers to welcome into the league today, which I will go through during the qualifying phase. We've also got a few reserves as well to keep an eye out on, but we've also got a, well, maybe not so enthralling title battle anymore because 38's run away a little bit, hasn't he? But I guess it could still all change in the coming races. But today I'm joined by everyone's favourite human being in the world, Mr. Genie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you? I'm looking forward to this one.
I'm very well. France is something. I don't know if I'm going to say anything other than that about France because I don't like it.
It's a very different track to the ones that we've had previously. Demands, we had the demands of Baku last week, which was a lot of just like survival and point and squirt. This is a track that demands more free-flowing style, and yeah, I think we'll see whose driving style really adapts to these different conditions, and yeah, exciting to see.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely going to be. It's definitely a good thing that it's not on the calendar next season.
Yep.
I don't have to race here again, thank goodness. So, yeah. But it is what it is. Did you have a fairly good? I can't remember where you finished on Monday.
I had a chaotic race on Monday. I took my hards long and then got a very lucky safety car, so got myself out in 8th and was all set up to have a good, and then messed up the restart, cold tyres, went down and eventually lost my wing in between the first and second late safety cars. So I think when it all came out in the wash, because there was chaos in the end, I ended up 6th, but it could have been a lot higher. I think I messed up a chance at a podium there, but yeah. Never mind.
It's never fun, is it? But you'll be back. You've had a few good results recently, so you'll be back and bouncing.
Up and down. I think I am living proof of the importance of practice. I don't do much, therefore my results are up and down. If you practice, you'll be a lot more consistent at this game and a lot better at it, trust me.
Tends to be the way. What we're going to do is we're going to find someone just starting a lap. And are you happy to take us for a lap?
Very
Cobra.
happy, yeah.
The Cobra, I think it's going to be it.
Stick with the Cobra. Right, so we're across the start-finish line and now into one of the worst turn ones in all of F1 history. It's blind, you've got to really look out for it there, and you can lose a lot of time. He's done that quite well through that left-right, and more importantly, he hasn't left the back end. Right, now we're into this very tight, technical, twisty section. Breakdown at about the 50. You can use a lot of curve here, it's quite forgiving. Use a really tight right-hander down into second, and then it's careful. You want to get on the acceleration as soon as possible, but you don't want to run it too wide. He's kept that nice and planted there, and then it's full beans down this straight. Open that DRS, as you can see. And then we are looking for about the 100-meter board on the right-hand side to brake hard. Goes past it just there, hooks it in left. You can cut a little bit of curve on the right if you are brave. And now you've got to be down on the traction as well. If you've got no traction control, you can lose it out of there, but he's kept that nice and planted. Right, now we're into this long sweeping right-hander. It is full out through here. He's done very well. Now you're into one of the trickiest corners on the circuit. I reckon we're going to see a lot of overtaking here because you can take it deep, you can take it shallow. It's all about trying to keep as much speed through the corner as possible. He's navigated that well. Now you're going left here. You want to look for that yellow marker on the inside, that apex marker. He's done that quite well. Straight out, full beams. You're looking for the 50 marker. Really hook it in. He's gone a little wide. He hasn't quite clipped the apex. When you hook it in, he's gone all the way down. All about first or maybe second, I think, out of there. The DRS open for a little jump to the line. He's had a nice little toe from the car in front, and that's put him in 4th place for 133.2. Excellent lap there from Cobra.
Yeah, we've had a few good bankers. What about that for a banker lap from Luigi Moretti, by the way?
Yeah, he's just finding his way in this league, isn't he? It's been excellent to have him in there, very enthusiastic in the Discord. That's just what we like to see, and even more enthusiastic out on track, beating everybody else there by about 1.5 seconds. Yeah, don't know if this is his debut in T4. Might be his last race in T4 if he's that much. Oh, okay, last week. But yeah, might be going out to Tier 4 very soon if yeah, he keeps putting performances like that, because that's a long way in front of anybody else.
That's almost Tier 1 level banker if you think about it. Pole was only half a second quicker than that in Tier 1. So
yes. Yeah, of course. And we've got a lot of people who are coming to the game, they're learning it. You might have, you've got more assists for Tier 4. This is our like sort of development league, and we've got racing line on in the corners. I think France is one of the ones where you really benefit from having the racing line, because particularly those tricky corners, particularly in Sector 3, you can lose a lot of time if you pick the wrong line or you're getting it wrong every time. So, yeah, that will be a slight advantage for our Tier 4 drivers. Maybe that's why the times aren't quite equivalent if you compare them through the tiers, but still, pace is pace, and that's the next thing.
Yeah, I think the corner after the flat out right hander, I never remember the name of it, but that one, you can take so many different lines. It's almost intriguing to see which one is the quickest, because I still don't know now. I tried to take a wider entry and let the car swing in, because you can get on the power so much earlier. So that's what I do.
think the trick, the trick with that corner is kind of whatever makes you feel comfortable, what gets you through there consistently, and what makes you feel quick. I understand that some lines might be 2/10 quicker or 3/10 quicker, but if you've got that consistency, remember there's 26, 27 laps of this race, you want to make sure that you're hitting your mark every single time. If you're pushing for the fastest one, but that's more risky, and you keep losing the back end and you keep running wide and invalidating time, then it's quickly not going to end up the fastest route. So you've got to be a little bit careful, just do whatever makes you happy, I'd say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Jax is another driver to keep an eye out on. He's been a driver who's really proved himself in Tier 3 so far this season, so it's going to be one that probably is in a very good position to go up next season, so let's see. So. It's always good to see the drivers from Tier 4 rise up though, isn't it? Because, it's what they're here for, effectively. This is where they start. We'd never ever want them to finish here though.
I think you're precise that you want to see them progress, you want to see people get better, and I will say that it's those that stick around and are willing to put the time and effort in that do see that improvement. And you've seen some really rapid improvements, like, I don't think drivers off the top of my head, Ryan Redcar, he was one that when we started first race, he was, he was back of the grid, he was way off the pace, but he stuck at it, and then last season he was Tier 1, this season he's doing great in Tier 2, and he's a very reliable driver. You've got lots of people who are, maybe going up the ranks and turning the assist off as they go.
Yeah.
Like Simba's one who's slowly turning them off and is getting better and better and has got all the way from Tier 4, Tier 3, and
I'm turning them off
2.
but getting worse. That's what I'm doing.
Well, there's that dip, isn't it? There's that learning period where you go, oh my goodness. I remember the first time I turned traction control off, and boy was I slow and inconsistent. And I think this is one of the hardest games to turn traction control off on, because it's cars are slightly more unpredictable, I feel. But
I think the biggest example of someone that's come from Tier 4 and is working his way up the tiers is, and I'm pretty sure you can definitely back this because you've raced with him several times, Banstorp.
Yeah, he's. I'd say he's too quick for Tier 3. I know he's dominating.
I'd almost put him Tier 1 level
quite,
at the minute, to be honest.
Yeah, and quite rightly so. Yeah, well, you saw how he performed in Tier 2. I know he was playing the team game towards the end and late safety cars and all that, but if he hadn't done that, he had the pace to win that race outright. So for me, that shows really that he's, Tier 1 at the heart of it, and I think he's always run no assists as well, so he is ready to make that step up. And I think for people who are, it's always nice when you have that season when you win. It's always nice that we try and have this tier system to make it fair, so all the competition is as close as possible and anybody can win a race. Sometimes in the tiers you get drivers who out of nowhere get faster or they improve, and it's great to see that improvement, but you're never going to improve if you don't make that step up to the next tier and start proving yourself against other drivers. And it is tough, and I've had those seasons at the top where you just tough it out and it's like, oh, I don't like being 15th, 14th every race. It's a drag, but yeah, you want to get better, and he's one that certainly has the potential to go very far in this league.
Yeah, it's like me this season. I know obviously I'm nowhere near the top as things stand, but it's frustrating because I know there's a lot more pace in me than is actually being shown at the minute, and it's of course annoying, but it's one of those things, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you get over. It is a mentality thing, and there's sometimes where it's like, right, you've got to. My biggest advice to people who are really quick, particularly really quick over one lap, but they find themselves getting like tripped up in races, or they always lose the car in corners. Try and drive at 90%, like
Yeah.
95%. Every lap doesn't have to be a quali lap. That opening lap. If you see the move, you don't always have to go for it. Sometimes you can pull out. Sometimes you can do a bit of survival. Now, there will be the odd time where you get punted in the back and there's nothing you can do about it. That's racing. But the odds are is that if you drive at 90% and you keep your pace and you keep your consistency, that'll reward you coming through. And then if you keep building up that, getting consistent points, consistent top tens, the confidence grows, and then that's when you can push for your podiums and your wins, taking the risks to get those big results.
Yeah. Oh, I was just watching DRS Julian. He had a really good turn 1-2, and then on the exit of 2, just runs that slight little bit too wide, and boom, lap's gone. It's so infuriating when that happens.
That's why I call it one of the toughest turn ones in all of F1. It is a blind apex. Even if you're sort of using the halo view, never mind when you're in the car. There is a little yellow marker that you can see, but usually that's taken out by somebody, not deliberately, but it's just the way, because it's a blind apex, people go out and it knocks it out of the way and you can't see it anymore.
Yeah.
Get that bit right, you can gain a second. Get it wrong and you feel all out of sorts, the track's at an odd camber, you can run wide, invalidate your lap straight away, and that's it. You've underfueled the car.
Yeah,
there's no chance for another.
That's what I was going to say. Turn 2, sorry, is kind of off camber, isn't it? So it's absolutely a nightmare, to say the very least.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Zondas has just popped it into P4. That's a good lap from him.
Really excellent lap there. Oh.
Danny's invalidated. That's not going to help him. Julian's got fuel to go again. He's really slow, so he's letting someone through, but he's about to start his lap in a second.
Okay. Just a little tip there for the drivers, if you are listening, just because I saw it on Zondas' screen there. The pit exit here, really dodgy, right? It feeds out right into the racing line. So my advice is, if you're in qualifying and you're coming out the pits and there's clearly a faster car, slow down and try and let that faster car out. In the race, if you're doing it, what you want to do is, obviously you're going to go out the pits as quickly as possible. You want to fight for that. If you are the car that is not in the pits, avoid that pit exit area. You can see it, you're going to go into the back of somebody if you're not careful, and they're going to be at a very different speed, so avoid it. I know that the stewards kind of take a dim view if you're going to just ram into the back of the car coming out of the pits. It's not a great look, so yes, avoid it at all costs if possible during the race, please.
I do also blame the track slightly, though.
The track is stupid. The track shouldn't feed you out into the racing line. I agree.
It's ridiculous.
Think it's dangerous. But that's why we have to put these sort of like little rules in place to make sure it's like.
Yeah.
You can say the track's ridiculous all you want, but you can also, if you think the track's ridiculous and you carry on your line, you're going to end up in the back of another car with your front wing missing, which is also pretty silly.
I'm going to put it out there, it's the worst entry and exit in F1, without a doubt.
Yes, agreed. And there used to, I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be an awful corner cut glitch.
It is still there, yes. I've got it in Tier 3. So
you've got to be really careful about your entry as well, because it will penalise you for doing absolutely nothing.
And the other annoyance is the fact that it's a slower pit lane as well. The entry is slower than all the others, so that's even more infuriating.
You've got to be really careful. I think Tier 4, I think they've got pit assist on, so
yes,
it's not much of an issue. But yeah, in all the other tiers, I'd say that's the most infuriating 5-second penalty you can get in all of F1.
100%.
Going 1 mile an hour too fast in a pit lane that doesn't have any real people in, so isn't that unsafe? Scottish Ninja here finishing his lap. I know he's had a bit of a tough time of it recently, but this lap looks nice and planted. I know he's got some pace, and I want to prove this to us tonight.
I tell you one man that's had
P11, excellent.
Something that you could call of a disaster, and that's the championship leader. He's scrambling back to the start-finish straight now. He's got half his battery remaining. He hasn't set a lap, and he's only got 3 minutes to do so. He's
Oh,
under
and
quite a bit of pressure here.
he's dashing into the pits. It'll be really
Yeah.
interesting to see if he can get a time in.
I don't think he's going to be able to, because they take an age to put you back in your garage.
They do. The one benefit with France is that you can do the mother of all, I don't know if you've seen the time trials around here. You can do the mother of all corner cuts to try and get around
Oh yeah,
lap
you're not wrong there.
far
Yeah,
quicker than you should do. So
I did a
that's his only
113 the
tactic.
other day.
It's silly, isn't it? But see people do
I don't know why it did. I wish it did. I think we should do no rules in MRC for this one track.
We just all go straight on at the lines,
Yeah,
no corner cuts.
it makes the track so much more fun though. It genuinely does. It really does. But
Doesn't take much with this one.
I mean, I could have used MRCX for that if I thought about it, couldn't I?
Yeah, just don't shake it up.
Yeah, but I tell you who is on a lap. Oh, man's out. I've just realised the man in P3. Not the pun, not intended at all. But he is
Yeah,
out.
see
He
where he's
can't
gone.
continue. But I tell you what is going to be interesting. Let's see how Jay Dudon's going to do, because he is now approaching the end of the second sector. Can he get anywhere near that pole? Not at the minute. He's only 2.5 tenths up on his lap, so he's going to need to find quite a bit more time.
He's got to be careful with some traffic here as well. They're probably on a fast lap as well. He just, I don't know who that was, just like a bale
Whoever
in
it
front
was
of him.
moved very late, didn't they? Slightly out the way
Yeah.
there, but
Won't want this traffic. That Red Bull's doing exactly the right thing. Should be clear to the line, but yeah, it's frustrating when you've got people on fast laps and you're just a little bit quicker. Maybe you can use this Ferrari with a little bit of a slipstream, if it helps
Yeah.
at all.
he might be a bit close. Oh, he's got away with it though. So interesting.
I know it's only second place, but that was a very big improvement and takes you under the 132 mark, which is no mean feat. So yeah, congratulations on that.
Another new driver who's here is Nuts. He's in P6, so it's a good little debut from him so far. Markham's another new driver who we welcome in, of course. And is there any more? I think Cobra's fairly new, but this is his third race of the week, so
Ooh, up into fourth for Nuts.
fourth. Wow, very good lap there. Good improvement, that is for sure. Let's have a look at the other drivers like Jackster. How's he going to get on? He's a driver we're so used to seeing near the front now.
Yep.
That it's going to be interesting to see where he could put that Ferrari. Hopefully not where Charles Leclerc put it in real life.
No, it's a very odd place to go. Fingers crossed. I don't know if anybody is running the no ABS tonight, but there's one place he then goes straight on. He seems to have navigated that corner pretty well so far, keeping it in fourth as he swings it round. He takes this corner. Very good line through there. Maybe just missing the apex slightly. Runs a little bit wide. See how much he hugs the apex here as he gets to fifth. No, has he bailed out that lap entirely? Yeah.
Wow,
Not worth it.
31-0.
Oh, is he keeping that one?
Right, I'm starting a petition after this. Luigi for tier 1. That's crazy. Here comes Julian. He's jumped up to P8, so that's a big last lap from him. And I think only 38 did get onto another lap.
Okay, well, let's see how he can do. Won't have any reference. We won't know if he's up or down because this is his first one. Lot of pressure on this
There is
last lap
so
now.
much pressure. Even if he could just whack it into the top 10, it'll be huge. Let's see. If he can beat Luigi, then wow. That's just ludicrous. But let's see.
EG?
32-1, he's
Oh.
into P3, so that's under a lot of pressure, and he's pulled it out the bag, so very good lap there. But that's it for qualifying. That was fairly dominant by Luigi. Well, fairly, very dominant. 9 tenths ahead of anyone. But there is your grid for tier 4, so Luigi is on pole. J. Dudon second, 38 with a last minute lap. Goes into third, Brindle into fourth, Nuts on his debut into P5. Johnny Smooth with a huge lap from him, P6, Man in P7. For some reason retired early, so could have been higher. Zondas P8, Julian with a late lap P9, Cobra P10, RC Danny in P11, Jackster P12, Smith in P13, Biff P14, Scottish Ninja in P15, Markham P16, Necromancer P17, Winky P18, Bandstop and Single Track will start on the last row of the grid. Who is your prediction on, Mr. Genie?
Oh, there's a lot to pick from there. I've got a soft spot for Brindle, actually. I know he's got fourth. He's got some very strong drivers around him, but I've really seen improvement in him the last time I've commentated in Tier 4, so that's going to be my outside shout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be anywhere near as adventurous as you. I'm going for Luigi after that pace. To be honest, if he can produce anywhere near that kind of dominance in the race, then I think it's going to be very tough for everyone involved. So, I'm interested to see what tyre strategies people go with. Obviously, the hard's been majority been the strategy that's preferred this week, but we will soon find out.
I quite like the hards around here. Like I said, I was able to take them around 20 laps and no further than that in the actual race.
Yeah.
Would have been terrible.
I think the hards here are definitely better than they are at, well, at least for me they were, better than they are at other tracks.
Yeah, they only really started to feel awful about after lap 18, and those last two laps are a little bit dodgy, where I was just sort of bringing them to the edge of their lifespan, but they did fine. The mediums go off quite quickly, and the softs are definitely just a quali tyre or late safety car.
Well, talking of softs, Bandstop is starting on the softs.
He's going for the 2-stopper, or maybe he's going for a charge through the field. Lap 1 might be one to look out for.
He also did a 2-stopper though in Tier 3, because he pitted under the first safety car, which was on lap 4, and then pitted again. But looking at the tyres now, you've got the top two both on hards, but you've got quite a lot actually compared to other tiers on mediums. You've got 38 on the mediums, Mutts Nuts on the mediums, Zondas on the mediums, Necromancer and Martin has started on the mediums as well. Everyone else is on hards other than obviously Bandstop, so
yeah,
it's more mixed up than it has been in other tiers, let's put it that way.
It's a question of when you want the pace, isn't it? Like, the mediums are the much faster tyre through the corners. They just don't last that long, and simply by the end of their stint, the hards have rubbed in. They're a lot better. So what 38 will be looking to do, at least we'll be starting that close to the front, is take pole, go up the road, try and build up a lead, and make the most of those mediums in some clear air. For those in like Mutts Nuts in 5th or Zondas in 8th, they're the ones who really don't want to be caught up in traffic. Because if you are, it kind of negates the effect of their mediums altogether, and you might well as be in hards, because this is another place where it's very easy to get stuck in a DRS train. If you fall out of it, then yeah, you can lose a lot of time going through the corners if somebody's got a different setup to you.
Yeah, definitely. Right, but now we are coming to the end. Getting heat in your tyres on the formation lap here is, around this track in particular, is so important on the race start, because if you miss that braking point into turn 1, it's going to cost you quite a bit.
Yeah.
It most definitely is. But here comes Luigi. He's going to pull into his grid slot. Oh, there was an Aston in the background there that went a tad wide, so that's not going to be helpful at all.
Nope.
But let's see this race start. It's going to be interesting to see who can get off the line best here. You'd think it'd be 30 with the medium tyres that's going to get the best start, but you just never know, do you?
No, you never know at all.
But here we go, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we're underway. Maybe at some point we'll be underway, hopefully. It's coming, here we go. Great start from Donny in second, and here comes 38 on those mediums. They're going to be 3 wide into turn 1.
Don't go.
Oh, Luigi's done very well. 30's taken second from Donny. The two Alphas have made a good start as well. They're in 4th and 5th. There's been a moment for Man, who's dropped all the way to P18. But that is a good solid start from all these guys. I tell you what, look at Bandstorp. Oh my goodness, into P8.
Yeah, he had a real charge up the field. He managed to avoid some chaos, I think, for about RFC, Danny down to Man, Smith and Biff. They all got caught up in a momentary two turns 1 and 2. But yeah, Bandstorp making the most of that. Those softs, he's going to have to, because he doesn't want to get caught up with the rest of this pack if he's going to make those work. But yeah, very impressive start for him.
Yeah, definitely. Truly, truly impressive. That was... I mean, those softs, obviously, they're not the ideal tyre. Like you just said, Mutts Nuts has managed to get Johnny Smooth back again as well for P5. So, nice to see he's not giving up on the position there. Oh, Zondas and Bandstorp side by side, heading in to that last sector. And Zondas held on well there. So... yeah.
A bit wide on the exit, but and Toby's gonna try it up the inside, and bold move. Okay, if he can make it stick. Yeah, he made it. He did it perfectly there, because if they were side by side into that last corner, then Zondas would have the inside line and could have just pushed him wide. But yeah, up into 7th and Toby there, up 12 places from the start.
Yeah, that is some start from him. Let's go have a look at the leaders, because Luigi 30 and Donny all together. Donny's actually closer to 30 now than 30 is to Luigi, so I wonder if there's going to be some team tactics coming into this slightly, because these guys are not going to want to fight too hard, especially when they've got a Constructors title to think about as well.
Yeah, like you said, 30 is pretty much up on the rest of the pack. The championship's not won yet, so I'm sure he won't want to sacrifice that many points. But if they feel that Donny has the pace, if those mediums start to go off, then maybe it is worth one of them swapping in one of the DRS zones, and the other can chase after Luigi, who's eking out that gap now up to more than a get out of that DRS zone from 38 behind.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be something, that is for sure, because oh, there's a moment. 30's round.
Oh, yeah, where did he lose that? That was
He's
coming
lost
through
it. Yeah, the right hander
corner.
yeah, that is far from ideal. Mutts Nuts is right on the back of Brindle. Brindle's also just hovering over a second behind Donny as well, which isn't... He needs to close that a little bit, but he is close to. But that's a big fastest lap. I'm wondering if that also slowed Donny slightly as well with the spin, if he maybe tried to avoid his teammate a bit there.
Yeah, perhaps. I think maybe problem with Donny is that both he was just about a second within the car in front of 38, and as soon as he was 38 in between, the gap doubles, doesn't it? It goes from about you have not 0.7, you're suddenly 1.5 behind the car ahead and well out that DRS zone. And Luigi, I questioned whether he could keep this pace up during the race. Yeah, he's doing it no problem now, and just seems to be pulling away at the front.
Yep, he absolutely is. That is for sure. I'm having a bit of a problem at the minute getting YouTube chat up. It's misbehaving, but it will come back. This Mutts Nuts battle with Brindle is going to get juicy soon, I think.
Yeah, Mutts Nuts on the mediums, he needs to make those work for him now, so he'll be desperate to keep in touch with Brindle up front. Let's see if the gap closes up through section 3. If you're a medium tyre runner, this is where you want to be making all your time up, using all of the tyre while you can. Because, yeah, once you get to a lap, it suggests about lap 12 on these, if you're going for the one stop. They're vile by then. They are not much good as a race tyre by then, but they need to get the most out of the hards.
Yeah, what Mr. Baby Hornets just said is also correct. It is looking rather overcast. However, we have received word from the boss man of the league that it looks like it's going to be dry for the session, so the change in temperatures could also have an effect on how long these tyres last.
Yeah, cold tyres might help to let them run a little bit longer, but you'll have maybe a little less traction at some zones. Maybe that's what's causing people like 30 very skilled drivers just to lose the rear end in some of those as well.
Yeah. I tell you what, there is another one. Brindle is now right on the back, or coming up to the back of Donny. So this straight line speed is going to be interesting, and Luigi is starting to pull that gap now a little bit. It was hovering around 1.4 for 2 laps. It's now up to 2 seconds. So, and do you know what? He's still got half of his ERS left. So at the minute, he's controlling this race.
It's exactly where you want to be, isn't it? You just want to be banging in those laps, feeling safe, feeling confident in the car, and knowing you're about 2-3 tenths a lap faster, and that gap just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He'll just want a quiet race. He won't want to see a safety car. He won't want to see anything like that. All he wants to see is that gap grow to about 6-7 seconds by the time his pit stop, and then hopefully he can make it count. Great thing about starting on the hards is that, yeah, when you come into pit, fingers crossed, you'll come out ahead of everybody else as well. You won't have the worry of being stuck behind some of the other runners, unless some of those medium runners are super quick when they get on those hards and can jump in, but at the moment I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, I think Smits just had a moment or mark on one or the other. One of the Red Bulls have just gone around in the final sector. But I tell you something, I am trying to check to see if it's raining, because if you look at the clouds, it does look like there could be some of that wet stuff on the way.
I can't see any drops of water on the cars at the moment. I wonder, I know we got the all clear from the boss man. If there was some rain early on, that might put some reasoning into the fact why Banstock's gone on those softs, maybe hoping for the rain, because it would play perfectly into his hands, because he would get the most out of that tyre, then everybody would be forced onto a pair of Inters probably. But yeah, maybe it's just going to stay threatening for this while. No drops of water on the car, like I said.
Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Baby Hornet's trying to encourage it to rain, or if he's seen something we haven't from the stream, because he's just put rain in capital letters. So I think he's trying to use a Connor curse that I obviously own and encourage, and he's trying to use it from YouTube chat. Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. It only works if I say rain. So, yes.
I've heard this. I've just heard this, and this might be a rumour, but I've heard if you like and subscribe to the stream, that increases the chance of rain by about 50%. So I would encourage everybody watching to do that.
I heard it was 75%. I just want to add 75%.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Even better. So yeah, what have you got to lose? Why not?
And if you click dislike, you get 500 years of bad luck for you and your family.
Yeah, please like and share with your friends.
Yeah, we'll move on swiftly from that comment, but still, 38 though, he's dropped to 8th. He's now on the back near enough of Julian. That's not ideal for him on those medium tyres at all, is it?
No, lap 6 they'll start to be, and it doesn't seem quite soon, but they are starting to get into sort of a crossover point with the hards, where they feel about on par with them. They are going to start falling off a little bit, and all up the top, that might prove big later. Luigi, he's quick, but hasn't been able to keep it in between the white lines. That's a 3-second penalty. Just have to keep an eye on that, because, yeah, we said that gap was growing, but that undoes all his good work, and that gap is now back to effectively 0.6 seconds up at the top.
It does. The only thing that's slightly saving him is he's still got ERS usage, whereas Donny doesn't have any at the moment. So he has controlled that gap well, but yes, that 3 seconds, especially this early in the race, could really...
It plays on your mind.
It plays on your mind, and now you've almost got to drive slightly slower just to ensure you stay between those track limits. So he's made his life somewhat more difficult there, let's put it like that. I think Toby's tyres may have already gone off as well, you know, because he's making no real impression at the minute on Mutts Nuts and Brindle ahead, so...
7 laps is probably the limit for the softs. Anything after that, you're going to be going into puncture territory. So if he takes them 7 laps, though, it does take you into the limit where you can go on the mediums for 10, or possibly go on a set of hards all the way to the end. So he's got a couple of options. It's not all over for him, but certainly he is losing time on that set of tyres, and I would recommend he gets off them as quick as possible. Doesn't look very fun at the moment.
Well, I mean, at the minute he's in a good position at the minute, as far as he's got no pressure from behind, so he can still just kind of keep eking those tyres out, go to the hards, go to the end, and that could be the moment that really pushes him forward.
I'm trying to see whether we've got the battles out here on track.
I'm currently watching Mutts Nuts and it's so easy to say his name wrong. Mutts Nuts and Brindle, who the thing is, they're kind of Brindle keeps kind of getting into the DRS of Donny and then kind of just dropping out, and it's the fluctuation of it is costing him. Julian is right on the back now of Zondas, so that's definitely interesting, with 38 sniffing as well. That's a big old battle for P6.
Yeah, let's see if they can do anything across the start-finish line. It is a DRS straight, of course, but I'm not quite sure how many overtakes we see in this sector. It does seem that Zondas has got a nice exit through there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 30, but yeah, no, nobody quite close enough or alongside each other to really make a proper move at this stage, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. Julian seems to sort of... I think the exit here is more important than the actual straight line speed. You need to prepare yourself for a good exit, and then it makes... Because even though there is that massive long straight in the middle sector, it's still quite difficult to overtake because it's reasonably a high-speed corner at the end of it, or reasonably high speed compared to other corners. So
yeah, it's not a place for a bomb at all, is it? I mean, usually there's very few places for a bomb, I would say. Just don't do it. But you do need to make sure that you're entirely side by side if you want to try and make the move in that first DRS zone.
Yep, and then also you need to pick which side you're going for, because you either want the inside or the outside for the next slow right-hander after that. Oh, yes. Someone's just gone straight on at that right-hander. I think it's Johnny Smooth who went straight on. I thought he DNF'd, but luckily for him, he's got away with it for now. So, wow, that looked... I just saw it in the background and I got a bit scared for him. I'm wondering if Mutts Nuts mediums might already be starting to gone, because he's dropped out of the DRS of Brindle now.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just struggling to keep it in the corners. Like I said, those mediums are very good in the corners until they're not, essentially, until they fall away entirely. And then those hards come into their own, they're nice and warm, they're consistent, exactly where to put the pressure down, and yeah, that gap just widening. Got a few moves at the back. We got 38. I know he's down in 7th behind both DRS and Zondas. Somehow he's made it all the way up into 5th place in one lap. Excellent.
Yeah, he has. I'm gonna go on board. Oh, that was side by side between Julian and Zondas. Wow. Boys,
yeah,
yeah, I'd have calmed down a bit there, because they... Oh, he's got 3 seconds as well, but I would have almost not made a move there, because they could have both had a run on 30 there down this straight. But 30's gained, that's going to help 30. 30's also got a penalty. I'm guessing that's 3 seconds, so that's not going to be ideal for him. Zondas and Julian both still really going at it. So, oh, Julian had a big moment, didn't he?
Yeah, it's just that twitch. It's so easy to do because you're right behind. He's in the dirty area of the car behind, and you put the power down. And for some reason, I think the track is maybe a bit uneven out there, or you're just a bit too eager. The rear can just snake, and if you get it very wrong, you go into the barrier. So that was a good save by DRS. He's still in the game, still in the hunt, and I think if Zondas falls out of 38's ERS, then I think Julius will be eyeing up another overtake on Zondas this lap.
Yeah, we've got a good little battle in the last sector for P10. Scottish Ninjas had a look up at the inside of Jackster into Bender, the corner. That was good defending from Jackster, but now he's having to look into the penultimate corner. They're side by side, but now he's gone for the outside line. He's going to get the better exit. Is he going to be able to make that count down the pit straight? But now the issue is he's also lost a bit, and he's under a bit of pressure from Mr. Martin Hills himself. But here goes Scottish Ninja up the inside into turn 1. And he's got the move done. Oh no, he hasn't. He's stuck it around the outside. Jackster's kept it there. Wow. That was
really good.
some driving.
Really good racing by everybody. Everybody just kept the space perfectly. Scotch Ninja had the run, he had the corner. Problem was he didn't quite have the line through 1 and 2 and had to put the anchors on a lot. Jackster had the line and just enabled him to go through there a lot smoother. Let's see if Scotch Ninja can get him back on this straight.
He does appear to have slightly better straight line speed, but he's actually more under pressure from Martin than he is attacking. But he's actually closing. Is he going to get it done into the right-hander? Not quite, but now into the long right-hander. He's managed to keep in front of Martin. Martin's round. He's hit the curb and gone. He looked like he hit the curb and went on his own there, sadly for him. But that was unlucky. Man's now closing onto the back of this also, so... Yeah, Ninja seems to have very, very good straight line speed.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked much about the type of setups you can do around here. It's a bit like last week we were talking in Baku. Do you go for straight down the speeds, go for a Gav kind of mad setup of 0-1 wings, or do you say, no, I'm going to make all my time up in the corners? I think you need some downforce down here or you're going to be absolutely useless through the corners. But yeah, if you can keep it stick, Scotch Ninja seemed to work for him for a little while.
Yep, 30's just come off those hard tyres, so he's now back out. He's going to be behind, I think, Banstorp just about, so that's not going to be ideal for him. He's got to make his way through. This is the issue with the alternate strategy, which ironically is starting on mediums around here. Yeah. So, and also Biff's now pitted for mediums. You're not going to take them mediums 17 laps, I highly doubt. So could be a fairly long way to the finish for him. But
you can't. Sorry, go ahead.
That gap between second and third is looking rather interesting now.
Yes, that's one of the real battles here tonight, isn't it? They've been all over each other from pretty much from the start. I was worried maybe that after we had the spin with 38 that Donny was just going to go up the road, but no, Brenda's been able to reel him in for now. Just biding their time. I'll be really interested to see which one pits first. Are they going to go on the same lap, or are they just going to, one of them going to try the overcut or the undercut, because it could be quite powerful around here.
Yeah, definitely. Mutts Nuts has just come in as well off his mediums. It wouldn't surprise me if we yeah, Zondas has also followed him in. So the medium guys are obviously now out of tyres on lap 12, which is about correct compared to what we've seen so far this week. So it'll be interesting to see where those guys can end up. Like we say, the hard tyres actually tend to get roughly faster than the mediums after about 8 laps of use. So there's every chance they could still come back through towards the end.
Oh, certainly, I do think the hards are maybe the better race that you'll see them having, putting in the quicker lap than the medium runners right at the end of the race on those very low fuels. Problem is if you can, you've got to get them there in the first place. We've had no safety cars yet this race, and we've got all 20 runners 12 laps in, so yeah, I think that has to be commended, that we've had some excellent driving, some safe driving. We had a few incidents and a few spins, but yeah, nothing that's demanded a safety car, so it makes a refreshing change when you compare it to what Baku was like last week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, me and Simon had to deal with a safety car every 2 laps, 5 finishers, and some truly massive brain damage at the end of it. But I'll tell you what is huge as well, 30's just got another 3-second penalty, which has now put him on 6 seconds at this point in the race. All the way down in 13th. That's, I know obviously there's guys ahead of him that's got a pit, but he's now given himself an awful lot to do here.
I hate to tell you, but it's worse than that, worse than 6, it's 9 seconds.
Oh, is it?
I'm having
wow.
a look at all the penalties now.
I'm going to get them up actually,
yeah.
Yeah.
You get at the time penalties now, but shout out to all the drivers that are keeping it clean. France is a track that is notoriously easy to cut the corners on by accident. There's no barriers around here, there's quite a lot of runoff area, and if you just run wide it's so easy to pick up another 3, as Biff unfortunately gets 3 added to his list. So that leaves us with Donny, Nuts, Jackster, Toby and Markham in his first race, all without penalties. A late safety car, lads, and all of a sudden you could find yourself jumping up a lot of places. That is the danger, picking up the penalties.
Yep, those guys are going to be absolutely loving it if there's a late safety car. That is for absolute certain. But looking at this battle for P2, Brindle just does not seem to have the straight line speed to get anywhere near Donny down a straight at the minute.
No, I feel that this move is going to be made in the pit stops. I feel one of them is going to have to take that hard tyre one lap longer than the other. And I think it's going to be down to Brindle, isn't it? You can always see the car ahead. You can react to them. You can, force them maybe to do something you don't. So when is he going to be brave? When's he going to go into the pits? Probably the earliest he can do it is around lap 16. We've seen those mediums go about a maximum of 11 laps. Nobody's tried any more. But yeah, Donny could go long instead. The worry for Brindle is that he goes in too early and Donny goes an extra 2-3 laps on the hards and attempts the overcut. Really fascinating battle here, and one of the best on track we've got at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think at the minute as well, we've got a nice little battle forming all the way from Johnny Smooth all the way down to Bandstorp. So 6 to 12 are pretty much all in a train at the minute, and it's going to make life very interesting for those guys there, because they've all got to avoid each other while trying to make their way forward. But again, now we've got what is it, like 14 of Brindle versus Donny down this back straight. Is Brindle going to do it? He's actually closing rapidly. He's pulled alongside. He's backed out. No, he has stuck out the inside. He's kept it there. Is he going to be able to get that exit? He's not quite. Donny sort of just had the better line. But if I was Brindle right now, Rob, I would probably maybe set off him for a few laps, not use the ERS, let it recharge, and then launch an attack.
Yeah, it depends what he wants to do. Does he now feel it's getting to the stage where Donny's tyres are going and he's holding him up? Is that why he's pushing for the pass? If not, I would say it is safer just to sort of sit in there and just, conserve your tyres, conserve your ERS, and then when you need to go for the push lap, push, because Donny could dive into the pits at any moment, as he's doing now. Yeah, Donny's in, they're both in at the same lap.
Oh,
okay,
he's got into the back of him! I wonder if he's got any sort of damage. Brindle did hit the back of Donny there. So
fingers crossed not, because if he has, that wing change might take him a little longer. I don't think he'll have time.
And obviously
to
he's not going to have had,
change.
I was going to say, he's not going to have had time to say yes or no, is he? So
no.
It'll be a non-consensual wing change, that's for sure. But let's have a little look, because we've obviously still got that battle as well. Julian's now popped it into P2. He's gained because of the pit stop. But that pit lane is also the longest. But I tell you something, Mutt's Nuts has jumped both of them.
Yeah. He's got a very solid race and just been a bit sleeping in the back. He was one of the ones where I thought, oh, he's up in 6th and he's made his pit stop. That's quite powerful at the moment. So yeah, I don't know how Donny's managed it. I don't know if it's where the pit lane, where the pit boxes are, or maybe had a better entry, because it is reactive pit stops we've got here. But he has jumped Donny in the pits. So
he has as well, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how quickly these guys catch Mutt Nuts on the pressure mediums. But if they're mediums, because that's 12 laps on the mediums, that's just literally on the cut-off point for them, isn't it? So
yes, they're going to have to take more. They're going to pass Mutt Nuts quickly and then build a gap up to him, so they've got a little insurance come the end of the race. Because otherwise, Mutt Nuts now one of only 3 drivers to avoid any time penalties as well. Incredibly solid drive for him on his debut. I'll be really excited. He'll want to push for that podium. He'll want to make a name for himself.
Yep, I've just seen maybe one of the best moves I've ever seen in MRC though. The Cobra has just gone up the inside of Johnny Smooth into the flat-out right-hander.
Oh,
wow.
That's excellent. Oh, Johnny Smooth's not happy about it though. He's sort of keeping well in with the Cobra there.
He is.
Both on 14-lap-old tyres. Is anybody going to dive into the pits now?
I think the Cobra may be.
Cobra. Oh.
I'd tell you something, someone behind has though. I think someone did. It was Scottish Ninja, he's in. But I thought the Cobra was going in then, because he took a very wide entry into the penultimate corner and then sort of decided against it very last minute.
He did, and that might have cost him the place. That indecision, just getting on there. Johnny Smooth's taking it back. He's back into P6.
He has, and now he's under
all over the back.
Yeah. Here he goes. That's not really an overtaking spot. Oh, they come together. He's round. Cobra is round. It was always a risk, that corner, wasn't it? Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And maybe Cobra now is just thinking what could have been. If he'd gone into the pits last lap, then he maybe avoids all that hassle, he avoids that spin, he gets in some clean air. Instead of being in 6th place, he's now 9 seconds down on Johnny Smooth.
Yeah.
And that'll mean that Johnny Smooth has a free pit stop there.
Yep, I agree. You've also got Danny and Man both joining that little battle as well. But here goes 38. Then is Johnny Smith going to get overtaken twice in 2 laps around that flat-out right-hander? He is. It's done. Wow, another. You've got to be so brave through there, haven't you?
It is very brave. I think it is worth pointing out as well. 38 has the tyre advantage, and these boys, he's pitted. The others haven't. If I hadn't pitted, I was on 15-lap old mediums compared to 5 laps. I would just get out of the way of 38. That's not my race. I need to focus on my own because he's chasing those boys up the road, all of which, now picked apart from, DRS Julian. I think is the one that's hanging on to see how far he can make those hards last.
Just a quick news flash. Luigi has just pitted and has just come out back in the lead. Oh
yeah, his gap was huge. He was able to build up a 26-second gap between him and the nearest car.
Yeah,
and it's about a 20-second pit stop around here. So,
but
excellent work.
I think Mutts Nuts is going to be in a bit of danger here because here comes Brindle. He's going to have him before they even get halfway down the straight. Those mediums are working beautifully at the moment for Brindle. Bearing in mind he is on lower fuel as well at this point, so you never know. He might be able to get a couple more laps out of those tyres than he normally would be able to. So, yeah.
Yep, that's another advantage of running the hards first, isn't it? That might be why it's one of the better strategies, because you can get more out of your medium tyres at this stage. Mustnuts isn't taking it lightly though, still keeping within 0.2, 0.25 around the technical section. Donny will want to catch up to this group now. He doesn't want to let Brindle or Mustnuts get up the road now.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That lapped car though, I think Winky has left the session. He's got internet connection problems, but the lapped car, his AI lapped car is being a real nuisance for these guys at the minute, so...
Yeah, it's unfortunate there.
Something's happened to 38.
Not just 38, have you seen the DNF we've got? I don't know when that happened.
Oh, Toby, wow, yeah. Toby's gone somewhere. Out. But 38's also had a moment because Danny's now ahead of him. Danny and Julian have both pit as well. But I wonder how much that's going to have affected. Yeah, that's weird. Where's Toby gone?
Toby's sort of gone without much of a yellow flag or much of a... Yeah,
we got no indication at all there, did we? Really? Other than the fact that it said DNF next to his name. So... yeah, I'm rather confused by that, to be completely honest. But Donny side by side with Mutts heading into the left-hander, now the right-hander, but Mutts has actually placed his car very, very nicely. But Donny is going to have that exit and is... oh no, he's not, because Mutts is fighting back. They're going to be again side by side through that flat-out right-hander, and Mutts keeps the position.
I think Mutts just dumped all the rest of his ERS there to keep ahead. It's not a bad place to dump ERS. People aren't expecting you to do it there, and it's a straight. So, yeah, it'll keep you ahead for one more lap, but I don't know how well it's going to serve you come the next lap if those tyre differences there. The one that really benefits, though, is these two scrap, is Brindle, who's getting about 3 seconds up the road from Mutts now.
Okay, yeah, so update on Toby, he had rear wing damage, so retired in the pit, so that is why we had no sort of indication of what happened. But Donny is, I bet Donny's super frustrated right now because Brindle's going away from him and he's just stuck at the minute behind Mutts, which is really not going to be good for him, is it?
No, these tyres are 4 laps old. Every lap he's stuck behind him, the closer they're getting after that crossover point. So Mutts really wants to defend for his life. It's a really start strategy if he wants to get the podium position. Donny wants to get past as quick as possible. He hasn't quite got the exit out of that corner as well. He's a long way behind if he wants to try and make a move. into the chicane here. He's going to eye it up. No, thinks differently about it. And yeah, I think he doesn't get the move done. Here, he's just going to have to settle for yet another lap behind Mutt's Nuts. And every time he does, that tyre is just slipping away more and more and more. Is he going to go for a move up the inside here? Oh, sticks his nose in, but yeah, has to pull out. Doesn't quite have the line to go through there at full pelt. So, very sensible.
Yeah, that was... Mutt's Nuts has been defending quite impeccably at the minute. The only issue for him is he kind of... Is Brindle got 3 or 6 seconds? Let's have a look. So Brindle's currently on 3. And that gap is just hovering around the 3-second mark now. So, and I think by the end of the race as well, Mutt's Nuts will probably have slightly better time. But he's just had a big moment in the final corner. And here goes Donny. Donny has got past. Oh, he went really wide and lost his rear on the curb. That's really cost him. I feel for him in a way, but it's just slightly driver error there, isn't it? It's just so easy to do.
Yeah, very easy to do. The best thing he'll be thinking is like, right, at least that gap hasn't increased to something silly. At least my car's still pointing in the right direction. At least I'm still in this fight. And with both of these two, remember, they are less than a second apart. Both of them haven't got a penalty yet. It only takes one of them to run wide a little bit, get it a little bit wrong at a curb, get that 3-second penalty, and all of a sudden you're back in that podium position. So yeah, fascinating battle here for 3rd and 4th place.
In some way, it could benefit him potentially if Donny does just sit there ahead of him, because if he can keep with Donny is showed the pace to get that he can match Brindle as well. So maybe he can drag Mutt's Nuts towards Brindle and find both of them on the podium potentially.
Yeah, he'll want to maybe be within 3 seconds of Brindle at the end if he can stay in that DRS range. At the moment, unfortunately, though, he's just falling out of it. That gap was about 0.5 at the start of the lap. He's lost about 0.7 seconds so far. So yeah, those mediums at the moment performing better than the hard tyres.
It is great to see Mutt's Nuts, though. It's his debut and he's been showing a perfect amount of fight, showing that he's got real quality as a driver on his debut as well. There's a lot of pressure in your first race and he's really stepped up to it.
Yeah, so I think he's seen everything we want to in a first race in MRC. Not only is he nice and quick, but more importantly, he's been clean. He hasn't gotten involved in any incidents. He's always left space into the corners. It shows good sort of just racing knowledge, and it's really nice to see. Sorry, we're seeing RFC Danny and Scottish Ninja go at it now. I don't think it's long before RFC Danny gets past. He's all over the back of him, isn't he?
Yeah, I tell you what though, a lot of these drivers as well are going to gain a few places, because 38's on 12 seconds, but here goes RFC Danny side by side heading down into turn 1. It's so hard to overtake into turn 1, but he's got the move done, but the outside line's almost bare. But there's a switchback from Scottish Ninja. Wow, that was absolutely incredible. But
that was ballsy.
Still side by side, he's hung it round the outside, but the inside line is almost going to cost him. It could bring them together, but they've just about made it through in one piece.
They have, but now remember, Scottish Ninja is going to have the DRS. Oh no, he just
he went a bit wide.
He wanted.
Yeah, went a bit wide and it cost him. But that was some ballsy switchback from Scottish Ninja. I thought, wow, that can't end well, surely.
No, that was amazing side-by-side action. Really nice to see it.
Yeah, J. Dudon is now started to escape from Mutt's Nuts, but he's also started to really close now on Brindle. So Donny's now got a lot of pace when he's been given free air. Man is also right on the back of Johnny Smooth, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly Man can get on the back of him. I'm just going to go check the tyres because they're both on 4-lap-old mediums, so this has been pretty much a race-long battle between Man and Johnny Smooth. So battle for the last points-paying position.
Yeah, what we've seen is happening. All those hard runners that were in a big train from Johnny Smooth back, they all pitted within that same lap. All spread out the field a little bit to about 1 or 2 seconds, and now we're seeing a few of them just creep back in. We've seen RFC Danny make the move on Scottish Ninja. Now I think it's Man's turn on Johnny Smooth, but Johnny Smooth does have the DRS from Scottish Ninja ahead. He only just got it as well. I think that might have saved him, because Man was eyeing up the move for a long time there.
What's also not helping is the fact that you've got Winky's Ghost car at the minute just kind of like not getting out of the way. Obviously, he's not in control of his car, so there's not a lot Winky can do, but it's really not helping them because it's just kind of in the way, in the wrong place. You don't want it through that traction zone because that's hard enough when you've got no car near you. But let's see. Is he going to get close enough? Well, we can say Johnny Smooth doesn't have DRS this time, even though he's within a second. He hasn't got that weird rear wing open. Man does, but he doesn't quite have the overspeed to catch him. But we've also now got Markham, who's coming onto the back of this, making his debut as well. So he's also hovering around the points playing positions at the minute, so he'll be delighted with that. Zondas has got another 3 seconds, so let's go and really see how much these penalties are going to cost people. So at the minute, 30 will drop to about, well, it'll drop 1 place actually, 30 at the minute, so that's not ideal for him. But Mutts Nuts isn't going to gain anything from Brindle, but Donny is. Donny is currently within range of Brindle to take that second place from him. That gap with Luigi out front is just absolutely ludicrous. I think it, like you said, it could be the last time we see him in tier 4 because that's astounding.
Yeah, it's very quick.
What else is going on? Let's go have a look at Man versus Johnny again, because these two are at the minute the only real battle on track. Can Johnny get in the DRS of Scottish to protect himself a little bit here?
I think that's what he's got to try. I don't know. Let's have a look and see what the ERS situation is like. Fairly similar. I think Man has a little bit more ERS than Johnny Smooth, so can spend it. It's just when you want to spend it. Do you want to spend it when the car in front has the DRS? I don't think you do.
No, you definitely don't. Johnny did manage to get it then, though. He was just in it through the DRS detection zone, so
yeah, he's managed to keep up.
Yeah, he definitely has. It's going to be interesting now, because I'm wondering if... let's have a look at the tyre life of Scottish Ninja. He's only on a lap more, but for some reason his car looks like it's struggling a lot more than the other two, so... And he's only done a lap extra, so... Maybe he's hitting the point of tyre wear kicking in, potentially. Or maybe he's got different tyre pressures or something.
Yeah, you never know what tyre pressures people are running around here. Maybe it's the fact that he's just starting to feel it a little more than those ahead. He was in a bit of a battle with RFC Danny side by side, and you never know how much that takes out the tyres when they're really driving hard compared to when you just have smooth laps going through.
Yep, I agree. But Johnny Smooth, Man, both still really, really going at it. Neither of them are quite close enough. The issue again for... I bet Man's getting even more frustrated now because these two are just getting closer and closer to Scottish Ninja. And this is now the battle for the last points playing position. But you've also got the Red Bull of Markham now right in there as well. So this is definitely the battle to be watching at the minute, because 1 point can make so much difference, even just to your morale. But that's another big penalty for 38.
He's going to be swearing a lot. I think he could have got an easy nailed on 5th place, but it might just see him sort of slide down the top.
He's going to be 7th now, as things stand, 7th. So that's not going to be ideal, especially when you've got Luigi now in this tier, who, if he does continue the way he's going, could throw, if he managed to win, let's say, the next 4 races, could find himself in the title battle, strangely enough. So
mad to think so.
Yeah, that is for sure. But let's continue on, because this battle for, let's say, 9th is really starting to hot up now. Markham's dropped off the back a little bit, so I wonder if he's at a moment somewhere. Man, Johnny seems a bit all over the place in the final sector. I don't know if you're noticing that too.
I think he's just struggling to find some of the apex. It is one of the more complicated last sections, and it's really difficult to find your line. You wish that you're very wide.
It's gone very, very wide. Yeah, you're not wrong. We saw that happen to Mutts Nuts as well, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's just the chance for Man. And if you're able to get if the overtake done there, that means that Man just has the best line possible.
He's got the corner.
Penalty.
Yeah, he cut the corner ever so slightly and got the 3 seconds. Now let's have a look. What difference is that going to make to these two? Because Man's actually still on 6 and Johnny's on 9. I missed the fact that Johnny's on 9, so Johnny needs to get past both of them and pull away, Whereas the battle between Man and Scottish Ninja, they're both on the same penalties. So let's have a look if Man can get any closer to Scottish down the straight.
He's using all of his ERS, and look at that closing speed now. He's got him. He's got to make sure. Yeah, Scottish Ninja just kept the same line. He's going to try and get this done before the braking zone nearly come together.
Ooh, there was a tiny bit of contact, but he's got away with it.
Maybe a little rub in his racing.
Oh, Johnny's hit him! But he's got away, he's through as well. There was such contact, but here goes Markham now as well. That's been possibly the worst straight of Scottish Ninja's life.
Yeah, Scottish Ninja starting that lap in P9. He lost a place to Man, then Johnny Smooth, then Markham finds himself down in P12. And with a few penalties to his name. So yeah, he'll be swearing in his car. That was very nearly points position, and all could have just slipped away in that second.
Tell you something rather massive. Brindle's just got another 3 seconds, which is now going to remove him from the podium.
That's so crucial with those mediums as well. 2 laps left on those medium tyres. They are starting to scream. If they're 11 laps old, they won't be feeling very nice. And yeah, it's just so hard to keep it in between the white lines when you've got a car in that condition.
And as you can see as well, Mutsnuts is also starting to come back to these two a little bit. So his hards are definitely in the better condition of the 2 tyres. So at the minute, it's not looking good for Brindle. He is going to lose all these places. Mark wants to see the pens. You can see the penalties. So let's continue on here a little bit. But this battle all the way down here between... The battle's now between... To be honest, Markham's going to get Johnny here for P... he may even at the minute get Man as well. So Markham could still find himself just about on penalties if he can. He needs to navigate his way past though rather quickly.
Yeah, he does. Sorry, just a quick little thing. I was on board with Luigi to see how he was doing as he entered his final lap. He was swerving as he went across the line. I think for a second he thought that was the last lap, and if he put his controller down or put his wheel away, we could have been in for an absolute barnstorm of a finish.
That would have been a little bit of pressure and a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, thank goodness.
Driving though, so I think he's good.
Well, I thought he was on stream and getting minutes. I can confirm you wasn't, so keep going. So yeah, but let's watch this battle quickly for the last points player position. Oh, there's contact between Scottish Ninja and Markham in the final corner, but he seems to have let Markham keep the place, which is good sportsmanship from Scottish Ninja. But the issue is these two don't want to get too involved. Oh, was that a missed breaking point from Scottish there a little bit?
Yeah, I think he was just very keen to get by, and yeah, he's just seen it all slip away. Just got to keep a cool head now. You never know with penalties, you never know what can happen.
Markham's just got 6 seconds as well. Obviously Johnny and Scottish both have 9 at the minute, so at the minute he's still going to take that P10 away from... I've just realised Luigi's finished while these guys are just starting the second sector, so congratulations I guess. But that P2 is going to go to... I want to see what happens with Johnny and Markham though, that's the issue. Johnny seems to just about have kept it for now, but Brindle's going to come home in P2 on the road. He's going to lose the podium though, sadly for him too, Donny and Mutsnuts, who will be round out your podium. 38 is going to drop quite a bit here. At least 2 places. So
we're going to see how the penalties shake out here. He's across the line in 5th, but let's see what happens when Zondas goes across the line.
I think Zondas is just about going to get him, that's for sure. Yep. Is Julian close enough? Not quite. Julian's just missed out. That's a shame for him. Here comes Danny. He's going to come home in P8. That is... Oh, no, he's not. He's going to lose it to Man. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, he is. He's lost it to Man. That's a shame. Johnny Smooth across the line. Markham, good to see on his debut. Takes P10. Commiserations to Johnny Smooth on that. But oh no, Jackster snuck out of nowhere into 10th. Wow.
So I think Jackster had 0 penalties, so that's really paid off for him there.
Yeah, well, I did not expect that for 1 second. I didn't realise Jackster was that close. So he's just snuck in and taken P10 on the last lap. That's absolutely amazing. But I'll tell you what, now we've got a difficult question for you. Who is your driver of the day?
Oh, Gosh.
I'm almost tempted to not include Luigi in this
Yeah, I
because
mean,
yeah,
Luigi was incredible from start to finish. Let's not take anything away from him. My driver of the day is going to go to Mutt's Nuts. That's a podium on debut. That's a clean race on debut. Yeah, just what you want to see from a new driver and exactly the type of racer we want on our league. So yeah, no, congratulations to Mutt's Nuts. He's my driver of the day.
I'm gonna completely agree with you. He was gonna be mine. Like to make a debut, to get a podium, and to not get any penalties is absolutely incredible. So I think it's a well-deserved driver of the day. Obviously, special mention to Luigi. Congrats on the win. Absolutely dominant. But let's quickly run through the grid. Luigi takes the win. Dudon takes second. Nuts on his debut takes third. Brindle in fourth. Zondas fifth. 38 comes home in sixth. Julian at seventh. Man eighth. Danny in ninth. Jackster sneaks into P10 on the last lap and just ruins it for Markham on his debut, sadly for him. He comes home in 11th. Johnny in 12th. Scottish Ninja after a scintillating battle in 13th, Smith 14th, Biff 15th, Martin comes home 16th, Necromancer 17th, Winky 18th, the Cobra and I missed the Cobra DNFing, I'm not going to lie. The Cobra and Badstorp both did not finish. But there was some absolutely amazing racing there, Rob. I think that's a good little advert for our league as well to see that kind of side-by-side racing.
Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic. Tier 4 showing everybody how it's done. No safety cars as well in that entire race.
I think that's the only
two,
race of the week that hasn't
yeah,
had one. So
correct. Only 2 DNFs, and I think both of them retired in the pits. I saw Cobra off at the side in the pits. So yeah, I don't think there was any crashes. Nobody lost a front wheel. I can't remember any big wing damage. So yeah, excellent racing for everybody. Thank you. It's a pleasure to commentate on.
yep, Tier 4 is definitely delivering week in, week out. And speaking of that, we are back on Friday for what is a 100% race around France. So I hope people have got their endurance and drink a lot of energy drink for it, because it's going to be tiring, but it's also going to be a challenge, and there's still so much to play for in both championships in MRCX. I'll be joined by Morgan on Friday, who makes his return to the MRCX comms box. Rob, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Rob, thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. And don't forget what Rob said. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and you'll get rain some point during the season.
Promise.
Yeah, hopefully. There's a lot of pressure on you now, Rob. But thank you all.
No worry.
And we will see you all very soon. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Come on.